Welcome in this Wednesday edition, Oxford Exxon podcast. Chase Parham and Neal McCready. He's in the Clark Ford studio this morning. Ole Miss, Mississippi State tonight, 8 o'clock from Humphrey Coliseum. The Rebels, not a must-win, but metrically they kind of need one of these. We're going to look at some of that stuff today going into the game tonight between the Rebels and the Bulldogs. After I had anointed UConn is the best team of all time. They got obliterated by Creighton last night. They're in Omaha. We'll discuss that. Look at the SEC games where definitely neither favorite covered, including Texas A&M losing outright to the Razorbacks to get swept in that series, and much more. The home opener for baseball, 4 o'clock today against Arkansas State. Mason Morris, the sophomore from Tupelo, on the hill for the Rebels. So all that more coming up on the show. Show brought to you every day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford.
What's his grade on the preseason scouting report we were talking about? What was Morris's score on the major league scale? Do you remember?
147 on a 20 to 80 scale, somewhere in there. Yes, yes. Sandy Koufax, Mason Morris, and on down. Yeah. Not a slight to Mason Morris. It's the entire roster in all of college baseball. Not about Mason specifically there. More on that probably next week, because my irritation level is rising. So we're going to hit a point where it is a public conversation. But that is
what you are watching right now or listening to right now is me poking the bear just with a stick. I have a safe distance. I know that I'm safe, and so I'm just poking.
Yes, there's truth to that. So. Yes, Creighton does play games in TD Ameritrade or Charles Schwab Field or wherever we're calling that place now. Their old stadium is a really, really, really big dump there in Omaha, cross town. But yes, they do play games at Charles Schwab. Anyway, I don't know what I was talking about. Neil's got me all flustered and shook and triggered now, whatever word you want to put to the situation. But anyway, Macomb, new superstore, I-55, all over North Mississippi. Plenty of Blue Sky locations. Let them help you out. Again, the Beer Cave here locally in Oxford, lunch specials, and much more. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for our buddy Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Again, that's the number. Corey and the people at Clark Ford, they want to be your car guy. They want to be your truck guy. People ask what that means. Make the call. You'll start to find out. 662-257-1900. Guests join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. The Campbell Clinic is in Oxford now, 2608 South Lamar Boulevard, Suite 102, just across the street from the cottages at Hooper Hollow. The Campbell Clinic provides full-service orthopedic care, everything from sports medicine to foot and ankle surgery to spine and total joint care to pediatric orthopedics, physical therapy, and more. To book an appointment, go to campbellclinicoxford.com. or call 901-759-3111. Walk-ins always welcome at the Campbell Clinic, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Quick little game when we get started. I would have not gotten this right by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm curious if you can get in the right family here. I'm going to give you an ingredient list, okay? This is the ingredients that's in a food product. See if you can tell me the food product. Got it?
Okay. Yep.
All right. This is in order of, you know how they work. So it's like the most of the first ingredient all the way down to traces of the last one. You know what I mean? Like if that helps at all as a hint.
Okay.
All right. Distilled white vinegar, molasses, sugar, water, salt, onions, anchovies, garlic, clove, tamarind extract.
Tamarind.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Natural flavorings, chili pepper. Those are your
Go down.
ingredients.
Give me those again one more time.
Yep. It is distilled white vinegar, molasses, sugar, water, salt, onions, anchovies, garlic, clove, tamarind, natural flavors, chili pepper.
Fish sauce?
That's a good guess because the anchovy would have got you there. No, that's not correct, though. Something you probably use fairly often. Got one more guess?
Worcestershire?
That is correct, Mr. McCready. Lee and Perrin's Worcestershire sauce.
Okay.
That's good. I think I would have gone down the fish oyster sauce kind of ceiling, but my mind would not have gotten back to Lee and Perrin's on that.
Well, I watched Iron Chef America the other night because that's what I do when I'm just kind of want to clear my head. And it was Battle Tamarind. And so I was, yeah, how about that? It was Bobby Flay versus some person. And it was pretty interesting because I didn't know a lot about tamarind. And so it was an interesting hour. And when you watch it on,
do you realize the sentence you said is, I didn't really know much about tamarind. It was a really interesting hour. Oh my God. Like, holy hell.
You know, we all have weirdness and I mean, I own my weirdness. I steer right into it. I admit to people that I'm a little odd. I can watch food shows like that pretty much anytime. And for me, it's a very good, I guess this is a strength, right? You identify. Mm-hmm. It's a very good mind cleanser for me. It's something I can go do and I can
your brain can be completely off because Iron Chef is my favorite one, but from a timing standpoint of when I'm ever in front of the TV and something's just on, it ends up being chopped, which I'm fine with, but it's okay. It's very ingredient dependent though. There are times where I'm like, okay, I just can't like.
Yeah, I like chopped fine. If it's on and it's the only thing on, I can watch it and do my mindless cleansing thing, but I would prefer Iron Chef America, Beat Bobby Flay. I find that one to be pretty interesting.
Anything but guys' grocery games. Anything.
I can't watch the grocery games. I can't watch it. And I'm not a Fietti hater because I think from all accounts he's a pretty good dude. I just can't watch that particular show. If it's on, I don't like diners, drive-ins, and dives. It's not
played out. You know, there was a day where sure, but I'm kind of done.
Not my jam.
Yeah. I saw people talking to the stream up there. Yes, Austin Peay knocked off Mississippi State. Frankly, the SEC's kind of taking it on the chin. Alabama lost a starter to Tommy John this week. They've been hit by it. Everybody's hit by it. It's just
unbelievable, man. It's just I hate stuff like that. It sucks.
That's a good thought, Luke. He says he misses the stand and stir cooking shows. Everything's a competition. Okay.
Yeah. You know what I miss?
Watch Julia Child for an hour just making a duck.
You know the show that I miss? When we were living in Mobile, I used to watch it all the time. I think it was my getaway from like the grind of like writing everything about everything Auburn. I would watch the Emeril Lagasse show, whatever they called it.
Oh, really?
I loved that show.
Okay. Bam.
Yeah, it was a good show. It was entertaining, and you kind of learned some things. And I don't know how to explain it.
Iron Chef changed that game, right? It became popular, and that put everything else into play.
I think so. Yeah.
That, and to some degree, Top Chef.
I like Top Chef. Top Chef's good. That's a good show. They do good work with that show.
It's one of the few like reality TV things I could actually binge. Like I could get into the whole season of Top Chef and let's go through this thing. Like
100%.
Let's move.
In the last 6 weeks, I've done it a couple of times where I have nowhere to go. I'm finally getting to a point where I can kind of move. But before that, it was like, okay, well, what are we binging today? It just and that was a go-to a couple of times.
You just got to rewatch Breaking Bad. Just turn it on.
No, I'm good.
Easy listening. Easy watching.
Nope.
How far are we into Suits? I promise I got sports.
I'm almost to season 5.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Okay. Yeah. Stick with it. The start of season 8. It's going to take a couple episodes. Don't stop. Just keep going.
Okay. Now I'm pretty invested in most of the characters right now, so I'm good.
Okay. All right. What I was saying is that State lost to Austin Peay last night. I think Vanderbilt lost to Dayton last night. A lot of SEC stuff. It's midweek games. I mean, Wake Forest lost to UNC Greensboro or UNC Greenville or some damn body up there. But if you're
the World Series, by the way, they were pumped.
Celebrating it. Yeah.
Yeah, they look good. It was a big win for them. Cool. Yeah, sure.
what I was going to say is if you're State, you're almost more frustrated than some of the other teams. They lost last night despite their pitching staff striking out 13 and not walking anybody, meaning you just got your ass kicked. Like, you didn't give them the game. They beat you. Like, to me, that's almost more concerning than, oh, God, we hit 7 and walked 9 and we just sucked on the mound today.
Yeah.
I saw Robbie Falk say it, and I'm like, yeah, that's not good. That feels problematic and maybe foreshadowing there that you didn't win the game despite really pitching well. So, anyway, they scored 2 runs against Austin Peay after Austin Peay gave up 7 per game over the weekend.
Again, I'm not going to pretend to be a college baseball expert in February. I will, as I told you, I will probably starting this weekend. I'll probably start watching some games and making myself kind of start acclimating, learning about the league so that I can be conversant. But I'm now watch them go win the World Series. But Mississippi State had a great program for a very long time. I'm not sure that in today's paradigm of where college baseball is as it relates to college athletics and NIL and all of that stuff, I'm not sure they check enough boxes to be competitive at the upper end of the SEC.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. There's no agenda there. I have my doubts.
Yes, Ole Miss and Arkansas State is on ESPN Plus today. Every home game and every SEC game is available on that network. So yes, you can watch it. Mark says he threw a dart on Arkansas State at plus 310. I mean, plus 310 in any baseball game is not a bad odds there. I mean,
no midweek game, sure.
Yeah.
See midweek upset all the time.
Yeah, you'd have gotten some good odds on Wake Forest losing last night had you picked the directional North Carolina school.
Yeah.
So, let's jump in here. I got some football because the college football playoff did move to a 5+7 yesterday. We'll discuss that a little bit. And the calamity is the lack of clarity when it comes to this contract and what's going on with the rights. I'll get into that a little bit in a while as well. But as I mentioned at the top of the show, last night, really well-played game from the Creighton Blue Jays, 85-66 over UConn. They shot 50% from 3. UConn shot 18% from 3, and that was your story in a pretty crazy environment there in Omaha. Look, Creighton was good. They were a game away from the Final Four last year. Let's not act like they're some plucky underdog by any stretch of the imagination here. They're a damn good basketball program.
Oh yeah, they're Gonzaga good.
Yeah, I mean it's
they're legit. They've been legit for a minute now.
So. It was just one of those games. When I watched it, I thought it was more of a reminder to me for all this stuff about, this team and this team is one day where you don't shoot, and that's it. It's over. One game. They shoot, you don't, it's done. Ball game, your season's over when you get to March. And that's it.
Well, I'm sure we'll talk about SEC results last night. I didn't see games because I was Carson had club practice in Tupelo. I drove him because he doesn't feel great. I really didn't want him driving back and forth. So I drove him and, drove around, did some stuff in Tupelo, got back and saw scores, saw the end of the Creighton game. But it should also be a reminder that we're getting to the point in the season where some teams have nothing to lose. Some teams really play well at home. Some teams get super geeked up for one game. Sometimes you catch a team a little flat. It's February. If this was a Major League Baseball season, this is sort of early August, dog days a little bit. The pennant race is here, but it's not like right here. Mm-hmm. And you can have some weird results. Now Creighton's really good, and UConn just didn't shoot it well, and that crowd got into it, and that place was jumping. But like the Missouri-Tennessee game, Tennessee had to go find some energy. And then, the Arkansas game against A&M, A&M's playing tight, pressure. They've got to win. Arkansas's coming in with, a 130-something net.
And A&M doesn't shoot. They're relied on rebounds. And, just they have one way to win, even though they're a pretty good team, and it just can fizzle on you immediately.
And Arkansas's got nothing to lose. It's already lost. And so now you're just kind of playing. And they've got players. Missouri's got some players. You don't put on an SEC uniform with some modicum of talent. I mean, even Vanderbilt has some talent. And so if you're not ready that night, you can get beat. Your season can get. It's like I was thinking about this when I was driving back with him, and I'd seen the Missouri-Tennessee score, and I'd seen the Arkansas-Texas A&M score. I didn't see either of the games. But I was thinking about Ole Miss and how we do this thing where we assume a win at Georgia and we assume a win at Missouri. And I'm like, man, those are leaps.
But I don't know if you're assuming it as much as it's a requirement.
Yeah.
I'll get there in a minute, but
yeah,
it's more of that.
It's really interesting. I don't know what A&M's – I'm going to pull up net in a minute. I don't know what A&M's net fell to last night, but they've now got a couple of eyesores on their resume. They've lost to Vanderbilt and they've lost to Arkansas. I think they've lost to Arkansas twice.
They have. Yes, that is correct.
So, they've got some real roadblocks for them in front of them in terms of getting to the tournament when the committee looks at their resume.
Somebody put the net on our site this morning. So Ole Miss at 67, State at 41, A&M at 50, Carolina at 50, and Georgia at 97 is what was listed there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not necessarily. I might come back to this toward the end of the show, Luke. I kind of agree with you. We are storming the court over every little thing right now. And there is something when you're Creighton. I get you beat the number one team in the country and all that stuff, and I'll give you a little bit of a pass. But, yeah, you're top 20. I mean, were you not expecting?
They're number 9 in the net.
It was at home. Yeah, what are we talking about here?
Creighton is now 6-4 quad 1, 6-3 quad 2. They're only 1-0 in quad 3, and they're 7-0 in quad 4, so they've played a really good schedule.
There is nothing dumber than rushing the field on a midweek baseball game. Yes, that is the jumpest of sharks.
Has that happened?
I don't know. Luke's mentioning it in the thread, so maybe it did yesterday.
Wow. So A&M's net dropped from 45 to 50 because they lost to an Arkansas team that was 136 going into the game. Arkansas's net jumped to 124, but they lost to 136 at home, which is a just killer resume hit for them. Ole Miss is 67 tonight. They dropped 2 spots last night despite not playing. They played Mississippi State, who dropped to 41 last night. So this is a big game for Ole Miss tonight. I mean, I get that it's the rivalry thing and all that and blah, 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 but, man, you need another big win on your schedule here.
Neil, it's kind of where I'm going here, and we'll go here now. I kind of had it for a minute, but it's fine. We'll go ahead and hit this. I'm looking at Ken Palm. Ole Miss 67 in the net, as you said, going into the day. Ken Palm ratings the rest of the way for these teams. State 35, South Carolina 54, Alabama 6, Missouri 142, Georgia 85, A&M 52. Am I psycho? Maybe I am. Tell me, because you know more about this than I am when it comes to metrics in the NCAA basketball tournament. Am I crazy to think 10-8 is not enough? Look at their metrics. Their net has to come up, and who are you beating? It's where, when I look at this, because you do it a couple different ways, okay? And again, maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying everybody look at this and at least pay attention to it. That's all I'm saying here. Is I can get you to 10 with South Carolina, Missouri, Georgia, A&M. That is the most likely 10. Okay?
Agreed.
But you're at 67 in the net. You've got to come up, in my opinion, at least 17 spots to feel at all okay about this thing, around 50. You got to get around 50 to feel somewhat okay, I think, when you're in the SEC and you're in this conference. Well, that's beating 54, 142, 85, 52. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's fine. But your only road win in that is Missouri, who you just can't lose to because of where they're sitting in the net right now.
At 148.
I don't know that 10 is enough. But then you do that other way and you go, okay, well, you win in Starkville or you beat Alabama and you get the big win. Well, okay, but that has to offset a loss somewhere if we're talking about 10. If you beat Alabama and then lose at Missouri, well, then you still are in a weird spot. It's probably enough, and I understand that's how logic works, but at the same time, I look at it and go, that resume from a straight metric standpoint does not look like some guarantee.
So Ole Miss's resume as of today, and they do look at more. They don't just look at the net or the Ken Palm. They look at a lot of different things. Ole Miss's resume as of today, 19-6, 6-6 in the league, 3-5 on the road, 2-0 neutral sites, 14-1 at home, 3-5 in quad 1, not terrible. 1-1 in quad 2. This is the part for Ole Miss that scares me a little bit. In quads 3 and 4 combined, they're 15-0. You have 19 wins. 15 of your wins are against quad 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And so I kind of wonder.
Which is why they're 67.
Which is kind of why, it's you wonder if someone in the room who's maybe wants to see more mid-majors in the tournament goes, well, guys, they haven't beaten anybody. They won 4 games. And by then it would be 8 games. But in your scenario, and I think you're right, another one of those is Missouri, and another one of those is Georgia, who is at 97 in the net right now. So there's a decent chance Missouri that Georgia could fall quad 3. Like that's the part I would be concerned about, to your point. At 10-8, when someone goes, well, I mean, I get they wear an SEC on their patch, but what have they done? Who'd they beat?
And Memphis is a shell of what it was when they were in Oxford. NC State's not helping the way you thought maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'll pull those up. Memphis's net right now is 89.
Yeah.
North Carolina State is 80.
Yeah.
Who was the other one? They beat UCF?
Yeah, they won at UCF.
UCF is I can't find them right now. I'll find them.
Okay. While you're looking in a second when we go to break, look up, I'm curious, Temple too, because it's another road win.
Temple's in the what league?
Temple's A10. Is that right? Or Big East? A10, right?
I think so. Temple is they're not in the A10.
Okay. We'll find it in a
What kind
second.
of league
No big
Temple
deal.
in?
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay.
We'll get there.
We'll find.
They're the American now. Who knew? Had no idea.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
I'll tell you real quick. It was right there. Temple in the American is 245. I mean, the big effing deal. I mean, in the eyes of the committee,
245. Wow.
245. Yeah. I mean,
wow.
That's my point. I'm with you a little bit. I mean, I think 10-8's okay.
I wouldn't want to go 10-8 and then lose to somebody with a bad RPI or net or whatever there on Thursday.
Well, that's what scares you a little, right? Is that you get to Thursday and you play an LSU or you play an Arkansas or you play somebody that you have
Or you
nothing...
play some freaking spunky team that won on Wednesday and suddenly has a pulse for a minute.
Well, that's my point, right?
Yeah.
You play maybe Arkansas. You play them. They got nothing to lose. They're just playing. Their coach is leaving. And they just go out and make a bunch of threes in Nashville, and you play tight as a drum, and you get beat by them, and your final thing is you lose to a team in the 120s in the net on a neutral site.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of with you. I think at some point, and look, these things typically take care of themselves, but I think at some point, if you're Ole Miss,
I think you have to beat Alabama at home next week.
Well, I was going to say whether it's tonight against Mississippi State or whether it's at home against Alabama, I think you've got to get a big W on your schedule, on your resume.
Yeah, I agree with you unless you're planning on getting to Saturday in Nashville. So, all right, factors Delicious ready to eat. Go ahead.
Tupelo doesn't understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying Arkansas is going to make a run, not at all. What I'm saying is teams like Arkansas, like LSU, that probably know they're not going anywhere, they get to play loose. They don't have anything to lose. And those teams
what we're talking about is all they got to do is beat Missouri and then give Ole Miss a game, and you get into a 5-minute problem, is what we're saying.
Yeah, that's it. And they don't care. Hell, if they lose, they get to go home.
Yeah.
Going home's better than hanging out with. They've had all that stuff. I wouldn't want to play a team that finished the season kind of hot, like LSU. We mentioned them. They win, say, 4 out of 5 down the stretch or whatever, and then they win. You play them on Thursday night. They know they're not going to the tournament, and they just play. They're having fun. They're playing. Meanwhile, you're tight as a drum.
Yeah,
you see that all the time. And a team like I'm kind of with you. I think they've got to have a signature win here soon.
Yeah. All right. Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals make eating better every day easy. Whatever tomorrow takes you, be ready with pre-prepared, chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. 35 different options a week to choose from, including keto, calorie smart, vegan, veggie, and more. Even more to enjoy with 55 nutrition-packed add-ons to make your weekly meal planning even more delicious. What are you waiting on? Getting started today and have a feel-good week of meals ready to go. It's the perfect solution if you're looking for fast, upscale options done easily, flexible for your schedule, as much or little you need by choosing 6 to 18 meals per week. Plus, you can pause or reschedule deliveries anytime. No prep, no mess meals. Factor meals are 100% ready to heat and eat. So there's no prepping, cooking, or cleanup needed. You can fuel up fast with the restaurant-quality meals that are ready to heat and eat 2 minutes. Whenever you need them, head to factormeals.com/MPW50. Use code MPW50 to get 50% off. That's code MPW50 at factormeals.com/MPW50.
Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with the personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Sego with Sego Wealth Management specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan, whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere. Schedule a free discovery meeting and see what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. The weather is starting to warm up a little bit. It might be time to make sure your AC is ready to go. You know it's going to get hot, and you want that air conditioner ready. So get in touch with the people at Comer and Southern. They'll check you out, have you ready to go when the temperatures rise and you crank up the AC. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, that area, call Southern 662-429-4429. A-Stock is a Nashville-based online retail company with the mission to provide customers the power to name their price. All items start at just $1. That's right. Every item starts at just $1, no matter what the retail value may be. So shop now at astock.bid. That's ASTOCK.BID. Or download their app, name your price on thousands of items from big-name retailers. A-Stock has multiple locations around Nashville, Memphis, some in Indiana, and more coming soon that offer local pickups, so don't miss out. The College Corner can get you outfitted for the start of the baseball season today, this weekend, basketball this weekend in Oxford as well, with South Carolina heading to town. If you want to get your Ole Miss gear, stop by the College Corner. They got 2 locations in Jackson. Got one right here in Oxford off of Sisk Avenue at the Oxford Commons. More than 4,000 square feet of the best Rebel gear. They'll have you in and out and ready for the games in no time. You can also check them out at collegecornerstore.com. When you work with Argent Wealth's 401k advisory services, you gain a valuable advisory team and time-saving resource that will help you develop and maintain a solid strategy for your retirement plan. They're committed to providing you with the personalized attention and involvement that you want and need. Their goal is to help you manage your 401k plan properly and ultimately improve your employees' retirement readiness. To learn more, go to mypinwealth.com. I'm sorry, that's myargentwealth.com. I've been so used to saying mypinwealth. It's myargent, MYARGENT, wealth.com.
So you mentioned those games last night. Tennessee 72-67 over the Missouri Tigers. Tennessee trailed by 3 at the break. Missouri played fairly well considering they are now 0-13 in the SEC, but Tennessee does survive there. They get 18 from Milwaukee. Sean East had 24 from Missouri. He's played really well lately. And
well, he just got back for the Ole Miss game. He's made a difference for them. He's given them a little boost.
And then, as you mentioned, the other one, 78-71, Arkansas over Texas A&M. The Aggies now 6-7 in the SEC, 15-11 overall, and just losing games that are inexcusable to lose at this point. Like I said, they don't shoot well. It requires all this rebounding and all this stuff, and just the way they have to win is kind of ugly, and it's not guaranteed. Strange game for them. Arkansas now 4-9 in the SEC. After that one, I saw somebody. The 2 games combined between Arkansas and A&M this season, 157 combined free throws.
Oh, God. That's bad. I mean, I saw at one point Carson's practice was just finishing up, and I looked at the scores, and there was like a minute and a half left, and literally 15 minutes later, there was still 50 seconds left. It was crazy. So there must have been a gazillion free throws. Again, I mean, not to beat the dead horse. It's just Texas A&M's tight. They know these games matter. Arkansas's dealt with all this internal drama. Their season's a total disappointment. I think their coach is leaving. A lot of people in Fayetteville think their coach is leaving. A lot of national people think their coach is leaving. They've kind of, I think, hit that point. They played Mississippi State really well the other night. They go beat A&M. I think they've kind of hit that point where it's like, whatever, let's just play. And those teams are dangerous because they have players. There was a reason that before the season, people like Blake Lovell thought Arkansas was a top 4 team in the SEC. They have talent. You talk about East. Beat you. It's the scary spot. I mean, I feel like we're kind of repeating the segment. Keep coming back to that. There's this that you already beat them once. Pressure's very clearly on them. You've got to stay in this game, try to make a run, make a play. You can really change the narrative. If tomorrow morning we're doing the show after Ole Miss beats Mississippi State, it's a completely different tone. I mean, Ole Miss would go from 67 to probably 61, 62 with a road win at State. Mm-hmm. You'd start heading in the right direction. You could beat Mississippi State, turn around on Saturday, beat South Carolina, and all of a sudden you're in great shape. You feel good about yourself. Yeah. On the flip side, you lose to Mississippi State as much as you go, well, okay, we always lose there. Okay, well, now your game against South Carolina on Saturday is an absolute must-win.
Yeah, period. I think that's the point, is that there's no game that is just this complete free shot. Everything has some level of matter, because when you're trying to get into the number you're trying to get to, you can't look at it and go, oh, well, this is the path. Just do this however you do it, and that's cool in that way to get there. Did your you want a free shot? Did your internet switch over to the other one? You kind of were doing a little weird thing. Check your network real quick, just to make sure.
I'll check.
Yep.
If I drop out, I'll sign back in.
Yeah, you're good. No problem. You just started kind of getting a little fuzzy there for a minute, and I think it wasn't lining up because of a network thing. Your computer thinks it knows better than you do. So while he's doing that, looking at tonight a little bit, because I think that's where we are with this thing. It's just, tonight has importance. There's no doubt about that on where this thing's sitting, moving forward there with.
Can you hear me?
With that, I can hear you. Your camera is frozen, but I can hear you. Neil will be back in a second. He's coming back. So, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, as we mentioned, State 6-6 in the SEC, 17-8 overall. Ole Miss 19-6, 6-6 in the SEC. Again, ESPN2 for that game tonight is where that's at. That is part of here. Neil's back. Let me get him in. Okay. Yep.
So what I was saying was, if you want a free shot left on the schedule, you've got to win twice this week. If you win twice this week, if you beat Mississippi State, you beat South Carolina, all of a sudden Alabama's a free shot. You can just go let it all hang out and see what the hell happens. But if you don't, at some point you got to look at the Alabama game and go, this is one we probably really need to win. Maybe it's not a must win, but it's a really need to win. And you don't want to go there against Alabama. They're an elite team. When they play really, really well, I don't know that Ole Miss can play well enough to beat Alabama if Alabama plays something close to its A game. And so you have to have help. I just keep coming back to it. I've heard this narrative from people out there just in general that, hey, this game in Starkville is kind of a free shot or whatever. I'm like, no, it's really not. You don't have that. You don't have that sort of – you're 6-6 in the league. 15 of your wins are against quad 3, quad 4. You need to put some things together here soon. Just feels like a big moment. I said this on Saturday night when they were down 10 with 12 minutes to go. I was like, well, here's your season, and they got it done. But beating Missouri at home by 3 points didn't change the narrative. You've got to start winning some games, or this thing is, because I hear people go, well, 9-9 is going to get them in, because last year a couple of SEC teams got in at 8-10. But if you go back and look at those two teams, it was is it Mississippi State and Arkansas? Got in at 8-10.
Sure, I don't remember the other one.
I think Arkansas was 8-10. But if you go look at their schedules, they played loaded schedules. I mean, nothing against Ole Miss, but they didn't play a loaded schedule. In fact, looking back at it now, and some of this is out of your control. You can't, when you schedule, you can't control what 15 other teams end up looking like. But the schedule ends up looking fairly soft. And so you're going to have to do some proactive things. 9-9 is not getting you in, I don't think. And I think 10-8 probably does. But look, at some point, if you really want to get in, you got to go start taking care of some business. This is the time when it sounds cliche, but I swear to you, I think there's some truth to it. You got to start wanting this. You got to play like, take a word from Carson, you have to play frantic. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, that doesn't mean play out of control, but it means play with a little desperation. We'll see. I mean, they showed some signs of that on Saturday, although late in that game, they almost let it get away. I mean, I think it's time for them to step up and play better basketball, or this is probably just not going to work out the way that a lot of people have assumed that it will work out.
Tonight, this line stayed, as mentioned in the stream, they are a 7.5-point favorite over the Rebels tonight. Huge line, big line. I think it was 2 or 2.5 in Oxford a few weeks ago, so 7.5 for the Bulldogs. And this one, Alabama at home, minus 8.5 against the Florida Gators tonight. That is the first game of that doubleheader. That's on ESPN2, 6 o'clock in Tuscaloosa. The Gators getting 8.5 from the Tide.
And see, this is free shot for the Gators.
Yeah,
this is free shot.
Completely.
This is free shot. They can completely change their metrics, but they're fine if they lose.
Yeah, they're 8-4 in the SEC headed in. They're cool.
Yeah.
174.5 a total on that game, by the way. Huge number because Alabama scores so many points, especially at home. Mm-hmm. Georgia and Vanderbilt tonight. Mike White's team, a 1.5-point favorite in Nashville tonight. Georgia 4-8, and has just really struggled after, I think, starting the year 3-0 or 3-1. I think they're 1-7 since that point. And then, yeah, if you want to throw a money line on something, I don't hate it tonight. The LSU Tigers at home at the PMAC. Kentucky, 18-7, 8-4 coming into town. It is a 6.5-point Kentucky line in the good.
Yeah, I don't hate the LSU money line. What the hell? Throw $10 on that.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been playing well. He's not going to put a lot of pressure on them. He's gonna give them the let's go have some fun. Let's go see what happens. They'll probably have a pretty decent crowd.
220 on a money line on that game.
Yeah, it's not bad. Good bargain.
Yeah, has Detroit Mercy won a game, or are they still over? Are they like 0-26 now?
What league are they in?
Dude. The Metro Atlantic or whatever it is, maybe. Is that right? Like the MAAC?
Okay, I'm looking.
I don't know. I'm guessing. I have no idea.
MAAC. No, I don't think they're in that one.
Well, I mean, if I didn't get Temple was in the American, I'm probably not getting. Would that be Horizon?
Oh, look. Is the Horizon still a thing? Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the Horizon.
Yeah, Detroit Mercy. 359, baby. They are 1-27.
They beat IUPUI.
IUPUI, by the way, is a 361 net. So that was a hell of a net.
That was a pillow fight of all pillow fights right there.
That's the resume builder. Hey, we beat the number 361. Just noticing. I mean, it's
dude,
the Detroit.
This thing could have been over in November. The ball was in the air.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Again, I get back to my point. Do something.
That UNA loss, that's the worst in program history, would have lasted 1 year. That's still the most unbelievable result I've ever seen. Like, I've watched UNA win the game and just kind of turned my head sideways like a puppy and went, oh, my God.
I was at the famous Idaho Potato Bowl or whatever it was called, literally when I saw that score on my phone, and I was like, oh, boy. I probably need to get back to the hotel. I remember telling Tyler, well, the coaching search just started.
Yeah.
That's it. Basketball season over in December.
Yeah.
That's good for business.
Yeah, I know.
No, but I mean, I'm broken records. I'll stop. Do something. Go. Don't leave it in the hands of the committee. Go win some games.
Last thing on that, Detroit Mercy. I mean, their head coach played for a national title. What has happened? Why is he at Detroit Mercy?
I don't know.
Wasn't he okay? Was it UAB where he was at for a while? Wasn't he okay there? Mike Davis?
Mike Davis, yeah, he was okay there for a while.
Okay. Jeez.
Stars
I'm right? When he was in Indiana, didn't they play for a national title? Didn't they lose to like Maryland?
I don't recall. I'll take your word for it.
Okay. I mean, I'm getting a lot of this long range stuff wrong today when I'm trying to predict, but
why is Indiana basketball so down, by the way? Shouldn't that be a program that's like really good? Why are they not good anymore?
I don't know. They suck.
They were really good for a long time.
They're firing Woodson, right?
Yeah, because our guy Dusty May is rumored to be the hot candidate there.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Our guy Dusty May now?
Hey, he was. We talked a lot about Dusty May last spring. I mean,
is that how we're doing that? Okay.
I felt like I knew him by the time it was over.
I was correct, by the way. 2002 Final Four in Atlanta. Maryland beat Indiana in the final.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. The semifinalists were Kansas and Oklahoma.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma's fault.
I'll give you 1,000 MPW digital dollars if you can name me the most outstanding player of the team of the Final Four. He played for Maryland. He was the best player for Maryland in 2002.
He was a guard, a point guard. Oh God, what was his name?
Once you tell me his name, I would have gone, oh yeah, I remember him being a dude. But as far as telling you without a hint, no clue, and like no chance.
I know it wasn't him, but was Steve Francis on that team?
I have no idea.
That Maryland team?
No idea. This player played in the NBA from 2002 to 2009.
Oh damn!
Kind of a journeyman. Played for 1, 2, 3, 4 teams, 5 stints.
Tell me, I don't know.
He is currently the coach at Coppin State, or at least he was last year. Mr. Juan Dixon.
Juan Dixon. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a good player. He's a good player.
17th overall pick of the Washington Wizards.
Oh.
That's who that was. Yeah. The more you know.
I can't criticize that. It's higher than I'm ever going to get picked in the NBA draft.
So 2 things here, football related, as we move on. One before the break, and we'll come back and discuss the other because it has a little more link to it as we go through this thing. The first is what we all predicted. They have decided for the next 2 seasons there will be a 5+7 format to the college football playoff system. It's not what any of us want because it allows the group of 5 team in and it does all that, but it fixes. It's what they had to do because there no longer is a Pac-12. That was the problem, is that you can't have 6 automatics when you only have 4 power conferences. That would have been a disaster of all disasters, especially when the teams that are getting in are now in the conferences that only get 1 bye. I mean, that's the other thing, too, is everybody goes, whoa, it's like last year, and here's what the bracket would have been. But it wouldn't have because Texas and Georgia can't get byes. Like, that's not the way this thing works anymore. So you had to make it where you have as many at-larges as possible. So just a quick refresher. You get 5 automatics. It is the 5 highest conference champions in ranking, whatever conferences they're from. We only have 4 Power 5, Power 4s, and then we have 1 group of 5 that will get in automatically. You have to be a conference champion to get a bye. So 1 through 4 seeds are automatically byes. That group of 5 is going to be the 12 seed. They're going to play the 5 seed, so the 5 seed gets a reward. And then there will be 7 at-large spots in the tournament, which is great news for Ole Miss and Texas and Alabama and Georgia and Missouri and all the Big Ten teams because it's 1 more spot that you can get in there as an at-large. As you know by now also, that first round of games that weekend will be home games in the playoffs, and then they will move to bowls the rest of the way from there. And I saw this mentioned this morning. And I know we've all thought it, but I don't know that we have put complete context on what this is going to be like. We already love the NFL playoffs so much. Now we're getting college football playoffs at the exact same time. Like, there's the argument that given this new format, is January potentially the best month of the year in the sports calendar?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
College football playoffs and NFL playoffs?
Of course. Who says no?
No, I'm just saying. I mean,
yeah. You've got, just approaching the midway point. Yeah. I mean, if you love sports, God knows you'll have plenty of it. And if you love brackets, you'll have brackets in both college and the NFL. I mean, the college playoffs are going to put up massive numbers, Chase. Massive numbers. Just monumental numbers that they've never seen before. People love playoffs. Look at the NFL playoff numbers. The NFL put a game on Peacock or something and still had a massive number. We love playoffs. Nobody watches the NBA until the NBA playoffs, then everybody starts watching it. America loves playoffs. We don't understand the English Premier League because they do the relegation and all that stuff. And boy, you give them a bracket over there, call it the quarterfinals, and we'd all start watching it. That's just who we are. I don't know. It's not a criticism. I'm not saying we're better or worse, but we love playoffs.
That is a very astute point, is that if the EPL simply had a bracket, they would have 20% more viewership in America. Just give them a bracket. Just let me cheer for a bracket in a tournament, and I am in.
Yeah. Tottenham plays Chelsea, and the winner gets Man City in the semis. Okay, well, I'm kind of interested now. I mean, that's the truth. We love brackets.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, they're going to get monumental numbers. Now, and I know you're probably about to get to this. The only thing about this is there's only like 2 years this thing is locked in.
It's 2. Yeah.
Austin, thank you for the super chat. He says chances that Florida State and Clemson are conference opponents for Ole Miss soon. Decent.
I think at least one of them are headed to the Big Ten.
Yeah, the rumor out now is that the Big Ten wants North Carolina and Virginia. And I believe the SEC does too. So the fight is on. But what is clear is that multiple ACC teams are seriously contemplating for the first time just paying the freight and getting out.
Yeah.
Just to hell with it. Let's write the check.
So, I'll take you through that. There's a story coming out yesterday about that. Some meetings going on. I guess next week is when it is. So let's hit that after the break. First, Prime Shrimp, primeshrimp.com. A lot of different flavors available for you. Their newest offering, the soy ginger. It's delicious. It's great on hibachi-type meals, rice, proteins. Mix in the shrimp with other veggies and different things. So a lot of options for that. Their best seller is the New Orleans style barbecue. I love the signature as well. And they make sure it is easy for you, whether it be dinner, lunch, protein, snacks. 10 minutes, freezer to plate, deliver straight to your door. And then we'll give you a little discount. 25% off. You buy 5 pouches or more, get a few of your favorites. Try a little of everything. primeshrimp.com. That's code RG. 25% off. Again, primeshrimp.com.
Brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're looking to plan a trip that creates a lifetime of unique memories, get in touch with John. What you'll do is just give him some parameters. Give him a budget. That's really important. And then let him give you some options. You can sit back and do nothing, and he'll come up with some options that you're not going to find on your own. 901-494-3387, or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. Oxford's newest Greek restaurant on the square, Opa, is the perfect place to plan your company dinner, a festive party event. Fabulous food, great craft libations as well. Opa can accommodate up to 2. 7147. Opportunities to candidates since 1967. If you're looking for a job, whether you're entry level or you're a seasoned pro, they can help you. It's always free. Multiple fields that they have expertise in. If your company is looking to hire quality, hard to find talent, excuse me, they can help you as well. Excuse me, 662-832-5138, or check out their new and improved website, servicespecialistltd.com. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. Podcast also brought to you by Northeast Spark. That's NESPARC. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio, using it at home as well. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's nespark.com. 662-238-3159. Phone service, parental controls, network security, wireless mesh extender, and more to get the best internet in Lafayette County. That's 662-238-3159. Our connectivity issues are not Spark. It's that it keeps trying to go to the other place on us there. So,
yeah, it's trying to go to a different spot.
Yeah.
Is it doing it again?
It was doing it a little during your thing. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. No clue. So this came out, reading here. It's a bunch of different writers. This is from The Athletic. This is on February 20th, so yesterday is when this was put out. It's Andrew Marchand, Nicole Auerbach, Stuart Mandel, and Chris Vanini. Some of those are not like the others. All right, reading through the deal. We know ESPN has agreed to terms with representatives for the CFP, 6 years, $7.8 billion, all that kind of stuff here. But the issue is that while that term agreement has been negotiated between ESPN and CAA Evolution, which represents the CFP leaders, which are the commissioners of the Power 4 conferences, really, Power 5, we'll get into that in a second, as well as Notre Dame, they still got to need to vote on the deal for it to take effect. And then they can't reach consensus on topics that would allow this thing to happen. One of the commissioners anonymously said it was a mess this week, and that they are treating the playoffs starting in 2026 as a clean slate with no formats, decisions made, all that kind of stuff as this goes into it. And I mean, there's a lot here, but I'll break it down this way. Is that, again, the current format of this 5 plus 7, it's only here for 2 years. Everybody's been really, really careful because we don't know what this thing's going to look like after that. We don't know what conference affiliations look like, and it's hard to set something in motion that you don't know what the landscape is when you write that contract unless you give yourself tons of outs. But I understand where the TV people are coming from, saying, hey, you want this amount of money, but we don't know what it is we're getting. You're not telling us what this looks like, even though we're agreeing to pay you billions, literally, of dollars over the course of this contract. So the questions we have are these. Number one, the one that is quickly going to be pushed aside like a fly, is that the Pac-12, which means Washington State and Oregon State, they want an equal vote to everyone else. They're going to tell them to buzz off at this point. I mean, congratulations. Yeah. They still want revenue like they're in a power conference. They're going to tell them to buzz off. That's not feasible here. And then the other things, and this is fascinating to me, is that in one of the people in the story, it was a conference commissioner outside of the Big Ten and the SEC, and I actually agree with him to an extent. He said part of the holdup is that the SEC and Big Ten has been so outwardly quiet about this allegiance and what it means. We know they have the power, and they won't just tell us what they want. And we're just sitting here sort of stuck in this limbo because the ACC, the Big 12, they know they don't have any power. They know they're waiting on the 2 big leagues to decide things, but for PR or whatever the reasons are, they won't just come out and say it. And that's why we're kind of sitting in this boat. People inside the conferences of the SEC and the Big Ten, they have kind of leaked that the SEC wants no automatic bids. They just want the 12 best teams ranked without any type of conference affiliation bias, nothing else. Just put this thing in. Maybe the conference champions 1-2, but beyond that, nothing at all.
I can tell you that the SEC feels like it should get 4 to 5 bids every single year at a minimum. That's what it feels.
Yeah.
They should get 4 to 5 bids at a minimum. In other words, they think there should be years where they could get 6.
Hard to argue.
And the Big Ten probably feels something similar.
So they say the SEC, that's their number one thing, is that if we're going to do a long-range plan, no automatic bids. Let's just rank the teams and move on.
Yeah.
I found this one interesting from reading multiple articles. I don't remember which article it came from. People inside the Big Ten say the Big Ten's one thing that they haven't said out loud yet is they want a 16-team field.
Yes. Yes. So, and I've told you this for a while. Whenever people do the 12-team thing, I'm like, oh, 12 is fine. Guys, it's going to go to 16. It's going to go to 16. And what both leagues want is let's take the 16 best teams. Let's have a tournament.
And then even inside this group that's going to become the people who get in to some extent, the SEC also wants uneven revenue share where the more teams in, the more money you get per conference. They are not for even revenue sharing at this point.
And here's where this is going, I think. And I think this is why, and you could probably add something to this in a minute. I think this is why you see the ACC schools that have muscle are starting to go, we got to get out of this. We're about to get run over by the train. I think what's happening is you have the SEC and the Big Ten. The part that's not getting said out loud is that they've basically shook hands on this and said, all right, look, we're going to give them a chance to play ball a little bit. But if they don't do it, to hell with them. We'll just join up and we'll do our thing. And trust me, the TV people will pay for it. And Chase, they would. Mm-hmm. And people go, well, that would really water down the regular season. What? People watch college football every single week, and they watch games every single week that don't have national title ramifications. Are you telling me that they're not going to watch a quarterfinal round where you have the SEC playoffs and the Big Ten playoffs with the winners to meet and something that would resemble the Super Bowl? Seriously? Are you really telling me that? Because I don't believe you. Are you telling me if you did a mix and match, you wouldn't watch 9-3 Ole Miss versus 9-3 Iowa live from Iowa City in what essentially would be a first-round game? Bullshit. Of course people would watch.
Yeah, hey, TV people, instead of getting Utah, the Big 12 champion, and North Carolina, the ACC champion, you're going to get our fourth-place team and their fourth-place team. So that's going to be Penn State and Tennessee. Capiche? Okay, cool, sweet. All right, moving on.
TV people, go sign me up.
Yeah.
Take it all day. And you're going to play those games on campus?
Mm-hmm.
In a playoff format where the loser's done? No brainer. And that's where the money is. And I just think that's where this is headed. And everyone knows it, and it's why Florida State, to Florida State's everlasting credit, regardless of which league they get into, I think they understand, and I know they do, they've said it out loud, this isn't, for them, this isn't tenable. They can't wait till 2036. Hell, I think they're willing to wait to 2026, and that's about it.
Thought this quote was so real, and yet it's what's caused so many problems because we can't just get to the brass tacks from all sides. I mean, like I said, the SEC and the Big Ten are really slow playing this. I mean, they're kind of going, hey, y'all just throw some ideas at us and we'll sort of listen to them and kind of whatever, with the implied threat at the minimum of, hey, we can just pull our ball and go home here, so be nice with whatever you're about to say.
And it's conceivable that they already know.
Mm-hmm.
2 years. But go ahead. I interrupted you. I apologize.
Yeah, no, you're good. The quote that I find fascinating, and again, this comes from, it just says one said, which means a conference commissioner, because that's kind of how these things are going in this anonymous thread. The corporate bottom line world does not have the same expectations of collegiality from colleagues as higher education. Correct.
True. Kind of like Suits. Everybody's out to burn everybody. Yeah. Look,
because that's what's happening here is like they're getting in this room, everybody's going, yeah, but look, we're all colleges and it's whatever. And at the end of the day, a couple of them are rubbing their temples going, no. That's not what's going on here.
If you're the SEC and you have all this leverage and all this power, why would you give it away?
Mm-hmm.
If you're Greg Sankey and your job is to represent the 16 member institutions, how are you serving your Why this year, for example, are you telling me that ESPN is going to balk at a playoff that includes, let's go Georgia? We'll make Georgia the champ, okay? Georgia gets a bye for the hell of it. Let's add Texas, Ole Miss, Missouri, and Tennessee. Anybody say no to that?
No one. Ever.
Who no to that? Except who says no to that is the Big 12 kind of, and the ACC says no. And well, you guys don't matter anymore, and we can squeeze you out at a moment's notice. That's what the SEC wants, and they're going to get it. And if it goes to 16, they'll go, oh, and did you see where LSU went 9-3? They're in. If you don't like it, okay, cool, leave, and we'll just do this with each other, because they have the power to do it. It's why it feels sort of inevitable to me. And if you're the ACC and you're the Big 12, I think you just have to go, we're willing to sit anywhere at the table. We're willing to eat the scraps. We're willing to wait and eat leftovers, whatever the case may be, but just let us stay here. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why they can't tell the group of 5, and by the way, you guys just don't have it. You're out. And at some point, I would tell Notre Dame, and if you really want to be in bad enough, join a league. Because either one of us will take you right now. Join a league. Pick a league. You want to go to the Big 10? Awesome. You want to go to the SEC? Awesome. Pick a league. Mm-hmm. Go. Why don't y'all go out for a little while and have a meeting, and y'all come back when you're ready and just take. We both have bids. Bids are good.
Here's
everybody knows it.
Here's the pamphlet.
We're even willing to let you publicly state that you have a bid from both. You get to pick one. You get to give the finger to one of us. But join a league. And then if you win that league or you're at the top of that league, then hell yeah, you're in the tournament. Sure, absolutely. I don't know. I think that's what's coming. I think people are going to flex. And you should flex. And if I'm the networks, I want them to flex. I don't want shit, pardon my language. I don't want crappy games in these slots. I don't want liberty in these slots. I just don't. No, I want Alabama. Who do you want? You want 12-0 Liberty or 9-3 Alabama? Yeah, I want 9-3 Alabama. If I'm the networks. I'm not talking about fans. I'm talking about networks. What can I sell? I don't want Liberty versus Michigan. I want Alabama versus Michigan. Send Alabama to Ann Arbor for an on-campus game and let that thing go crazy. Imagine the environment. As opposed to Liberty going in there and it's 35-3 at the end of the second quarter. I have no interest in that. And for the networks, they don't want that. Give them compelling big name matchups. People like that. And so what if it's Alabama LSU 2 or Tennessee Alabama 2 or Ole Miss LSU for the second time? Who wouldn't have watched Ole Miss and LSU play a second time this year? The first time was really awesome. If you'd said, hey, they're going to do it again in 3 weeks in Tiger Stadium, I'd have said, sign me up. That's why I'm entertained.
Well, as you said, the NFL does it 3 times, and nobody says a word. It's cool.
I mean, who would have said no to that? Maybe some diehard Ole Miss people, which are like, no, let's just leave it the way it is. But the rest of the country, they got that game. You get that game again? Sure. You don't think – I mean, think about it from a TV standpoint. How easy would it have been for a TV people 5 weeks later to promote LSU Ole Miss 2? Hey, let's just show the highlights from LSU Ole Miss 1 on a loop and go, hey, they're going to do it again. And this time it's in a bracket.
Look, I get that it was the 2 behemoths and all that stuff, but do you know how juiced we were for that Alabama-LSU rematch in 2011? I mean...
Of course.
2 elephants just running into each other, going, "Yeah, let's go."
Yeah, no, this is a no-brainer, and I think everyone knows it. And I think the reason it hasn't come out is because everyone's just trying to we're under contract here for the next couple of years, so let's play nice. I think everyone knows there's another paradigm shift coming.
And I agree with Pocket Watch here. They can still play D1 teams, and y'all can do whatever, but just have the group of 5 do a playoff. Here, we'll give y'all 12 or 16 teams. We'll put that thing in Indianapolis or wherever you want to put it. Have at it, and we'll play that thing.
Play it on Peacock or Paramount or something.
Yeah,
sure.
I don't care.
Sure. There'd be lots of people that would watch it.
Oh,
I mean, people like football. I mean, I'll give you an example. I don't know what they call it now. What used to be the 1AA playoffs?
Yeah, FCS.
in December when the college season was kind of over. We were waiting for the bowls, and all of a sudden there's like, I don't know the names of the teams, Montana State and somebody playing, and it says, national semifinal on it. You're like, oh, it's a semifinal. Well, sign me the hell up. And that exact same game on September the 30th, you'd have been like, no, man, I'm not watching that. I mean, is there a cooking show on? But they put semifinal on it. You're like, son of a bitch.
No,
Look at this. Hey, come on. Look, these guys. North Dakota State versus South Dakota, and the winner's going to play in the title game. Hell yeah. I mean.
Oh, we did it for D3. Forever we'd go, Mount Union. That's the Alabama of D3. Woo, they don't lose.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's where it has to go. And just acknowledge that. Get a TV deal. They'll pay for it. Get your share of the money. The guy on the end of the Lakers bench doesn't make as much as LeBron.
Yeah. And it is what it is. I mean, it's where we're headed. The SEC and the Big Ten, they're going to there's going to be one last chance here to get this thing whatever, and I think we are. We're spiraling. They're just not saying it out loud yet, but you got to feel when they're saying it in every back room possible and every Zoom and everything else that they do in every way at this point to get this thing done.
And if you're at a room, if you're in a meeting room in Clemson or Chapel Hill, Tallahassee or Charlottesville, you are today going, guys, we've got to get out. Mm-hmm. We have to do this. And frankly, if I'm in South Bend, I've got to have these conversations.
Yeah, it's time for them to get in the league. I mean, this has been cute and it's been helpful and it's been all that stuff for them. But I mean, at this point, it's just where the sport's going. I mean, either do it or don't. But they're lucky as hell they're allowed in these meetings as is.
Yeah, and if I were the two big leagues, I would look at them and put the squeeze on and go, we both want you. You know that. We'd take you in a heartbeat. You'd be a premier team. You'd get premier slots, all that stuff. But if you're going to sit out there by yourself, we're going to start squeezing you out.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, we will move on. Final couple topics after the break. First, G&M Pharmacy. That's in Oxford. That's on South Lamar, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedSync. Free prescriptions the same day each month. Take care of you. One trip to the pharmacy, one delivery. You have everything you need when you need it from G&M. Also located in Holly Springs with Tyson Drugs. You can give them a call at 662-252-2321.
Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. So schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself at corinthdental.com. Are you a displaced corporate executive wanting to put your career in your own hands? Are you an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify? Either way, Andy Ludicky can help. He owns multiple franchises and businesses. He uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy, put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You've got nothing to lose. MyPerfectFranchise.net or 404-973-9901. Southern Traditions Farm is a 68-acre, 32-stall upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. 2 sand rings, a grass ring, miles of wooded trails. So much offered at Southern Traditions. Horseback riding offerings from beginner to advanced to being able to compete in nationally recognized competitions. It's also a great venue for corporate outings and more. So get in touch with them on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions Farm. I'll have a mailbag up later today. It's brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. Are you thinking of making a move? Put the power of Sotheby's International Realty to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's International Realty and a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. So call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email him at Arthur, ARTHUR Hayes, HAYS at lakesmn.com.
Saw where the MLBPA is still trying to get a uniform change for the start of the Major League Baseball season, and it appears that at least there's some conversations happening in that way. MLBPA Executive Director Tony Clark says that he is speaking to, quote, requisite parties to see what can be done before the season begins. I mean, just a dumb train wreck that shouldn't have ever happened. So,
and if you're Nike, you got to fix it.
You do.
You can't. You can't go into the season with the players across the board bitching about the uniforms and then tell fans, hey, drop $169 on one of these jerseys that the players hate. It didn't work. It was you tried something, it didn't work. The players hate it. It's pretty unanimous. Go back to what you were doing.
You invested in spring training?
Invested? No. Will I turn it on some? Sure. It's baseball.
Okay.
I like baseball. I mean, I'll turn it on and watch baseball. What I'm invested in right now is the videos of catchers. And you're like Spencer Strider yesterday. I don't know how you hit that. I honestly, I don't know how you don't develop severe mental illness as a major league hitter.
It has the exact same tunnel, the same arm angle, the same release, and it gets halfway to the plate and then goes in exactly opposite directions. And you go, okay.
And so you're this guy who, since you were 6 years old, has been the best player on the team all the way through high school, travel ball. You went to some college at LSU or Ole Miss or Georgia or something, and you literally were just dominant. You were all SEC, and everybody's like, beast, he's a beast. And all of a sudden, you're missing pitches by 5 feet. I don't know how you go back to the dugout without going, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. My career's over. I'm finished. And you face that all the time, and then by the time you see him a third time, you're like, okay, maybe I figured this out a little bit. Now they bring in some cat out of the bullpen who's throwing 101 and has this wicked slider that I don't know how you maintain. And I realize you're a great athlete, so you're a very confident person. But I would think that your confidence, even as a major leaguer, and I'm being totally serious right now, if I'm a baseball team, I'm hiring a sports psychologist for hitters only. I don't know how you hit that shit. I don't know how you hit it. I mean, I was watching the Yamamoto thing. He's going to make elite, great hitters miss pitches by 6 feet. 6 feet. He's going to make major league studs, great hitters, people who get paid a lot of money to put on a uniform and to carry a wooden bat up to the plate. He is going to make them look foolish. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hard it is to make those guys look foolish. It's incredible. The way pitching has developed is incredible. It leads to some of the injuries and stuff because guys are throwing so hard and they're putting so much torque on their body and their arms and stuff, but it's incredible. Yeah,
Spencer Strider has a curveball now, so everything else he's now throwing a curveball too. So,
and he's incredible. Like, look at the kind of shape he's in, and all those guys that just I don't know how you because you literally can't hit that if you're not looking for it.
Ole Miss, again, home opener, 4 o'clock today, Arkansas State. The Red Wolves, I don't know where they're picked in the Sun Belt, but they've been successful to this point of the season. They've outscored opponents 43-9 after a 3-game sweep of Omaha, and then a win against Arkansas Pine Bluff on Tuesday. Prior to the Rebels, they are TBA. They have not announced a starter. As I said in the opening, Mason Morris will get the start for the Rebels. He threw 2.2 scoreless innings on Friday in relief at Hawaii. Gave up one hit batter, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts through 33 of 54 pitches, 4 strikes in that one. So home opener, 4 o'clock today. Looks like pretty good weather. Looks like it's pretty warm today in the 70s in the mid-afternoon.
71 is the high today here in Oxford.
So pretty good the rest of the week. Again, we talked about Saturday. I think that Saturday game starting at noon is going to be somewhere around in the 60s, mid-60s, high 60s as that game plays out there against High Point. First time I will probably see High Point play baseball, I believe. I do not think I've seen them. It's one thing when you cover baseball for 19 years, you see a lot of random teams. So, like, I've seen a lot of different schools play a sporting event over the course of 19 years. It's like Yeah, Oakland. Yeah, I've seen them play.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
the A's.
Indiana State 3 or 4 times. Yeah. Seen the
Yep.
Sycamores. So it's all good. So
You've not seen Iowa, though. You're probably a little excited about that one.
I have never seen Iowa play a sporting event in person. That is true. I don't think. If so, I don't recall it. I don't think that's the case. So I think this is the first time for Iowa. Got Maryland for the first time last year.
Yeah. The Friday night starter for Iowa, I know we talked about it the other day. It's a pretty interesting story. I mean,
Brady Breck.
Yeah, there's a certain Nuke Lelouch to him.
Throws it hard.
101's getting it up there now.
I mean, he throws it hard. It's going.
That's moving.
Yeah, New Jersey Tech back in the day, New York Tech back in the day. Ole Miss used to do that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen a really weird amount of Purdue. Ole Miss has played them several times. I've seen a lot of Boilermakers over the years. I don't know what the connection or whatnot is to that, but either way. Anyway, 4:00 today, Arkansas State and the Rebels in that one. Story up at rebelgrove.com on the back end of Ole Miss's bullpen, which was overshadowed by a lot of the negative stuff from the weekend, but it was not bad. There was some opportunity and some possibility there with the back end of their bullpen. So we'll see where that heads as the rest of the week plays out. And again, High Point Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So hope all of you have a wonderful day, and we will talk to you again tomorrow morning with Jeffrey Wright, his weekly appearance, and then recapping Ole Miss and Mississippi State tonight, 8 o'clock from Humphrey Coliseum on ESPN2. Take care, and we'll talk to you then.